So Mordechai ben Chana, this Erev Shabbos Chizuk should be the refuah shalema. When we look, we just had Shivasar B'Tammuz yesterday, and the truth is, when you think about the Jewish people leaving Mitzrayim, right in the beginning, right in the first year of them leaving Mitzrayim, they get the Torah, we're ready to get the Luchos, we're ready to go into Eretz Yisrael, and then we mess up, we transgress in the sin of the golden calf, of Chet HaEgel. What's amazing is that around a year later, we transgress again, because why is it a year later? We go, Shivasar B'Tammuz was when the Chet HaEgel was, and that's, by the way, what happened on Shivasar B'Tammuz. Nishtabru HaLuchos was the day of Shivasar B'Tammuz. We wait all the way until Yom Kippur, till we get the second Luchos. On Sukkot, we start building the Mishkan. We're building the Mishkan. We actually finished building it on Chanukah time, but we inaugurate it on Nisan of year number 2, exactly a year from when they're leaving. And then we start the traveling of with the Mishkan. That's Sefer Bamidbar, pretty much. It begins as they build the Mishkan. And then we're about to enter Eretz Yisrael, and we send the spies for 40 days, 40 nights. They come back. On what day do they come back? On Tisha B'Av. So a year and a few months later, after we left Mitzrayim, we mess up for a second time in the second major sin that Am Yisrael transgressed when they left Mitzrayim. But what's amazing is that in both of those occasions, which are also commemorated forever on Shivasar B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, which is the 3 weeks that we are now in the middle of, both of those occasions, there's a group of people that did not mess up. There's a group of people that did not want to sin at the sin of the golden calf. They didn't want to give their gold and silver. There's a group of people who did not believe the spies and did not cry, and they felt that this is all sheker. That group of people is the women. The women of Klal Yisrael is the only group of people who did not mess up in both of them. We have Shevet Levi, who didn't mess up in the Chet HaEgel. In the Meraglim, we don't find that necessarily. When it comes to these two major transgressions, which are commemorated by these 2 fast days, it was the women of Israel, the mothers, the daughters, who had a deeper understanding. They understood that something was wrong here. In fact, when it came to the donation of the money for the Mishkan, it was the women who gave the money. That's when they were excited to give the money. It's not that they didn't want to give the money. They're excited to give their money for the mitzvos. They're excited to build the Mishkan. It was Kol Isha Chachmas Lev who volunteered and gave of themselves to be a part of building the house of Hashem. And when it comes to the Meraglim, I think we've quoted this Kli Yakar, famous Kli Yakar, fascinating. In the parsha of the Meraglim, he says, if Moshe Rabbeinu would have sent women as spies to Eretz Yisrael, there wouldn't have been Chet HaMeraglim. There wouldn't have been the sin of the spies. And in fact, in this week's parsha, Parshas Pinchas, we find the love of the women to Eretz Yisrael, B'nos Tzlavchad, the daughters of Tzlavchad, their love to the land of Eretz Yisrael, their love that they wanted a nachala, they wanted a piece of it, they wanted to work the land, they wanted to be here, they wanted to feel it. But Bnei Yisrael, it was a little bit harder for them. You know, a lot of times I tell people, you know, I quote this from a famous businessman who once told me this. He said, you know, you want to hire a major hire. You want to enter a partnership with another person. You want to take on a new job and a new position. And I've taken his advice in different occasions. He said, you want to know if to get into a partnership with a specific individual, you want to be omeid on his character? He said, just have him over for lunch. Your wife will understand within a few minutes whether he's a good person to work with or not. They have that sixth sense. They understand something. They understand intuitively what is right and what is wrong. And that's why they did not sin at the sin of the golden calf, and they did not sin at the sin of the spies, of the Meraglim. And in fact, in this week's parsha, we see their love for Eretz Yisrael. There's something for us to learn from the women of the Midbar. There's something for us to learn from Jewish women across all of Jewish history. You know, they speak about, Judaism, the rights and feminism. It's all about finding the right balance. There's what to learn from the giving more rights to women, but it can be taken in a totally the wrong direction, as it is with the majority of the world, with all of these movements where they lose the structure of what a family is all about and the love and raising the next generation. That gets lost. Whereas the Jewish women, in a certain way, they're always running our vision and our destination and where we're supposed to go. And now we live in a generation, and specifically in the last few months, in a generation, in a time period where things are not steady, where things are not clear, where things are just not 100% understood. Where are we going? What are we supposed to be doing? What are we supposed to be doing at home? So many people, and many people that are watching, they're in America, and they're thinking, should I come to Eretz Israel? Should I move to Israel? Where should we live? What should we do? What about my parnasa? What about the kids? What about the chinuch? What about this? And a lot of families, you'll see that it's the woman, it's the wife, it's the mother who says, you know what? I don't have all the right answers, but I feel that it's the time to go. And that's their motivation to go. And husbands, if you're out there and you're listening to this, if your wife believes that it's time to go, you should listen to her. The women never hesitated when they knew when was the right time to go. They had a desire and a yearning to come to Eretz Israel, and this is the opportunity. There are some families where the husbands want to go and the women don't want to go. That's also important to keep in mind. I still always say, listen to the mother, listen to the wife. She knows what is realistic and practical for your family, but give it a chance. And this is really the Parshios, and we've been discussing this throughout the last few weeks. And I've been coming back to this theme because the truth is that all of these last few weeks is the journey of Am Yisrael entering Eretz Yisrael. And it's not in vain that we are in this turbulent summer as the world hasn't seen in over 100 years. From Pesach, from Purim really it started. From Purim, Yemei Purim and Pesach, they come together, the days of the Nisim of Am Yisrael, the birth of Am Yisrael, through the turbulent, difficult times of climbing up the mountain and getting through the difficult days of the 3 weeks. But we know that that also gives us the energy and the courage and the understanding that we're going to break through it. And from the great pain comes the great joy, as anything in life. And we've discussed this in the past as well. The things that give us the biggest joy in life are the things that are hardest in life, are the things that take effort and are difficult. And it's no wonder that it's the women who actually endure that pain and bring life into this world. And the greatest pain brings the greatest joy. And the greatest pain brings the greatest continuity of the Jewish people and of the humanity. And it's the women who have that built-in strength to carry all of humanity forward and to carry the Jewish people forward and to carry us through this difficult time, this painful time, all the way that we'll be zoche to see Mashiach Tzidkenu, we'll be zoche to see all of Am Yisrael coming back. And I've just yesterday, between Mincha and Mariv, we were in Shul. It was the end of the fast. We had a few minutes to discuss and to learn. Rabbi Wein was not giving a drasha, so I pulled out. We started learning the Hakdama of the Rambam to Perek Chelek, and learning and understanding what does the end of days look like. Is it miraculous? Is it Nisim? Is it Nisim and Niflos? And a lot of people think it's going to be, they're going to be bread growing out of the ground and clothing growing on trees. The Rambam's approach is more B'derech HaTeva, is the approach of what's happening right now is the process that Am Yisrael needs to go through. The process of actually coming back to Eretz Yisrael and building it ourselves and being partners with Hashem, which is our mission in this life. In our belief and emunah in Hashem means that we believe in you and we believe that we are a part of the mission that you want us to represent in this world, that we can actually create that perfect society over here with those values that we believe in, that we raise our children with. And from here, Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah will teach it to the whole entire world. I want to wish everybody a good Shabbos, a Shabbos full of bracha, full of atzlacha, full of simcha, full of nachas. We're back to a little bit more difficult times here. We're down to only 20 people in the shul. Registration filled up right away. We had a waiting list. We're limiting it to just our members. And it's awakening times. We had this awakening moment when it all started, and then we got into what they call here in Israel, Shigrat HaKorona. It's the Corona routine. Routine is something that could be very dangerous because you get into routine and you get used to something. You have to know how to get the excitement out of the routine. And that's really our avoda during these days, is to get the excitement out of the routine. Actually, that just reminds me, I just sent out a 1-minute video about this, is that we have routine in this week's parsha also, which is called the Karban Tamid. The Karban Tamid is a routine, and we do it every single day. And there's something that's dangerous about routine, right? When we're in routine, routine of marriage. We're doing the same thing every day. Routine of work. I'm going to work every day. I'm coming back from work every day. Routine. The laundry piles at home don't stop, ever, ever. They're always growing. They're forever going, right? It's the same food and making the food. And there's so much routine. So at a certain point, we might lose the excitement of what it is we're doing, whether it's in our work or whether it's in our personal life or whether it's in our professional life or in our relationships, because we're in a routine. How does one keep the routine exciting? I think there's a tremendous chiddush in the pasuk of the Karban Tamid. We discussed yesterday how the Karban Tamid is the most important pasuk in the Torah because it's consistency. You have to have consistency in your life. It's not just about big moments and big, wow, right? In any relationship, we know this. No woman wants you just to buy her a big thing once a year, and that's your sign of love. If you want to have a real relationship, it's the constant show of affection in small things, in a rose, in a poem, in a letter, in small gifts, in big, you have big gifts, but you can't build a relationship just on something that is big. You can't be successful in work just by doing one big thing. It needs to be consistent all the time. And that's what the Karban Tamid represents. But with that represents the risk of, I'm in a routine. And that's why it says, Olat Tamid Ha'asuya Behar Sinai. It's the Karban Tamid that is made in Har Sinai. It's from Har Sinai, meaning throughout the days of consistency, you have to be thinking about the first moment. Remember the first moment when you got married, that excitement? Remember why you got married? Remember what was the vision? What was the cause? What was the purpose? Remember the first day you started your job? It was so exciting. It was so invigorating. You were excited to embark on this new journey. Remember the first time you put on tefillin, which was exciting, or the first, whatever it might be. There's something that's exciting that when we start something, and then the routine makes it harder. But that's why the Karban Tamid is always reminded as Ha'asuya Behar Sinai. Remember the first moment. Remember that this Karban Tamid started all the way back from Moshe Rabbeinu right after Har Sinai when he built the Mishkan, and every single day from Moshe Rabbeinu all the way to Churban Bayis Rishon on Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, they brought the Karban Tamid for close to 800 years. Amazing, amazing. And that's really should give us chizuk in our routine, right? We show up for the 5 o'clock shiur here every single day. It's a routine, but there's an excitement. We try to find that excitement within ourselves. Why are we here? What could we accomplish? How could we come together as a community? How could we come together as a people? Encourage one another, and that itself should give us a lot of chizuk. So I want to wish everybody a good Shabbos again. Should be bracha, hatzlacha, siyata deshmaya, and we'll be in touch with Mirza Hashem on Sunday for Rabbi Wine's Parsha Shiur. Really looking forward to it. Should be bracha, hatzlacha to everybody.